or Elora or into extreme northern Madison County, I don't want you to come out of your safe place just yet, because there's another storm just on the heels of this thing that's moving almost in the same path about a mile or two to the south. Often a supercell structure like this, you'll get one storm that comes through. It lays out a boundary similar to a cold front, and that just feeds that second cell that's running in behind it. And sometimes the second cell can be even worse. We saw multiple instances of that back on April 27th. So with this one moving up into Franklin County, we want you in a safe place, but we especially want folks to the southwest of there to stay in a safe place. Just because storm number 1 has passed doesn't mean the threat is over. So there you see. Okay, let's go over to Ben in the severe weather center.
All right, right now there is a tornado near Buckhorn High School in Newmarket. It's the same one we were talking about that was moving through Moore's Mill. We've had several confirmations now of a tornado on the ground. This is almost a long track tornado here. It started way back in western Madison County. Now it continues to be on the ground here through Newmarket. So again, if you're around Buckhorn High School along County Road 65 in Newmarket, you need to be in a safe place right now as this tracks up to the north and northeast. Again, Buckhorn High School. Jason.
Okay, tornado on the ground near Buckhorn High School. We've got Brandon. You see Brandon over there in the pod. He's working on a couple of different things. We'll toss to Brandon in just a moment for an update. But what you're seeing right there is, and it looks kind of strange, but what we have on the outside of that ring, we're showing reflectivity. On the inside of this ring, we're showing the velocity coupler, the direction the winds are blowing. We have strong inbounds and strong outbounds. And what that means is in one area we have the wind that's blowing in toward the radar. In one area it's blowing away from the radar. And we can surmise from that, based on years of research that have been done and years of testing with Doppler radar, that the entire circulation here is, or the entire thunderstorm is rotating based on that kind of pattern. So if you're listening to us on the radio because your power is out, if you're in Harvest or Monrovia or Madison, the threat of this tornado is over. It is now passing northeast of Meridianville and Moore's Mill and up into some of these communities, Hurricane Road, Old Mountain Fork Road, Winchester Road, north of Deposit, north of the community of Deposit. We need you in a safe place now. This shifting to the northeast quickly into northern Madison County. And let's take that scope tool off so that we can actually look at the reflectivity pattern here. Up here around Old Mountain Fork Road, Beth Road, you can see how everything shifts northeast fast. And when you start seeing those black colors right there, that's north of Old Mountain Fork Road. Let's pop the... Okay, that's pretty close to Plevna. It's south of Mint Spring, and it's a little bit north of Deposit. This one is going to come into Jackson County a little farther south of that last one. So instead of coming through Plevna and into northwest Jackson County, this one comes through Newmarket and Fanning's Crossing into western Jackson County. This is still going to be north of Scottsboro. It's still going to be northwest of Stevenson. If you're down around Higdon or any of those communities on Sand Mountain section, places like that, you still may be hearing the tornado sirens, but this is extreme northwest Jackson County. This one coming through Newmarket will ultimately pass out of Madison County here in about 10 to 15 minutes, given the speed with which it's moving. Fanning's Crossroads, Newmarket, you need to be in a safe place now. This area here close to Plevna, extreme northeast Madison County, very close to the river. In fact, approaching the river, the county line between Madison and Jackson now, there's potential there for some very large hail that could be the size of golf balls or maybe even baseballs. We have a lot of shear in the atmosphere, and we also have a lot of instability. This is one of those days where we watch those ingredients come together, and if they come together just right, you can get monstrous kinds of thunderstorms that can do all kinds of destruction. So we want you to be aware that this could happen at any point in any community in North Alabama or in southern Middle Tennessee, and for that matter, middle and northern Middle Tennessee, Nashville up to Clarksville. If you are traveling north up I-65 today, south down toward Birmingham, over to Anniston, Tuscaloosa, down toward Jasper, or even west to Memphis, there's a risk of some severe thunderstorms. And notice how they are separated. We have one that's up here in southern Franklin County that's going to come in a little bit south of Winchester and Deckard and Cowan. Another one down here in Madison County that seems it may be a bit stronger, that's moving northeast to Moore's Mill, just about to cross out of Madison County into Jackson County. Both of these have had a history of producing severe thunderstorm damage, and we want to take them very, very seriously because we've got a tornado watch in place. We have these warnings in place. It's better to be safe than sorry, even if we have to give a much much broader description of where this thing may be coming in, we actually have a live picture from Ford's Chapel Road here in Madison County, and I think we're seeing a lot of damage like that. We actually got a picture in from Twitter that looked a lot like that in East Limestone. Also got a report from Twitter that significant damage had been done close to the Limestone Correctional Facility. About 1,000 feet of fence had been knocked down, and there could be some injuries out there in eastern Limestone County. So that's a live video feed coming from one of our news crews, Ford's Chapel Road near Harvest in Madison County. Significant damage has been done. We do know that there has been damage done near or at Buckhorn High School. I have not gotten clarification on that yet, but the National Weather Service passing along everything they possibly can. That's a look at the storm as it was coming past the Toyota plant here in Madison County. Distinct wall cloud there. But if you're a storm spotter, just a quick lesson here, you don't see the actual tornado there. What you see is a wall cloud. You can't see the base of it. So when you're reporting things to us today with these photos, keep that in mind. Tell us what you see, and let's try not to speculate too much, because sometimes that can get things going the wrong direction. But that may very well have been the tornado, but you can't see the base of it. So that's a great picture. Thanks to Jimmy Harris for emailing that to us. And if you have a photo, we would love to get the town, where it came from, your name, and a little bit of information about what time it happened or what time the photo was taken. photo@WHNT.com. These things are crucial to getting reports and giving some urgency, to giving some teeth to the warning process, to know that we did get some damage done in one place. It may make someone down the road take it a little bit more seriously. So a violent situation happening this morning, but there is good news in the fact that once these two storms pass out of here, that we will start to see things calm down for a little while. We may get a little bit of a break in the action. We're now getting reports of debris with the storms in southern Franklin County, according to the National Weather Service office in Huntsville. And we're still kind of looking at Twitter here to see if we have any additional reports of damage. I'm seeing that there has been some damage done to East Limestone High School in Limestone County. The possible tornado has been moving across Madison County and now across Franklin County, Tennessee. Now, we have a couple of counties that have the same names. We have Franklin County, Tennessee, Franklin County, Alabama. And a day like this, we will always do our best to make sure we attach the Alabama or Tennessee to it, because I know we've got a lot of viewers up here in Franklin County, that Market or Harvest or Monrovia or Moores Mill, North Huntsville, Madison, anybody that took shelter, Plevna, Brownsboro, Roseboro, you can come out now. The storm has passed you. You're still going to want to be down in that safe place in northern Jackson County, and we'll repeat this throughout the day. It's the lowest part of your home, a closet, an indoor area, an interior area, as many walls between you and the outside as you can get. Let's go over to Ben, and Ben has an update in the Severe Weather Center.
All right, we have another report of damage out here toward Buckhorn High School. We have a report of a vehicle damage, broken glass, trees down, no injuries though, which is some great news. Tornado went across the road and destroyed a farmhouse. Occupants of that were okay. Again, this is from the National Weather Service chat. This is from a ham radio operator. Apparently, Railroad Bed Road and Yarborough Roads as well, some damage there. But again, ham radio operators reporting Buckhorn High School tornado, vehicle damage, glass broken, also some trees down in that area. And a tornado warning continues for Franklin County, Tennessee, also for Jackson counties for another 12 minutes. As the radar still producing a tornado now about 6 miles west of Sherwood, or about 9 miles southeast of Winchester, moving to the northeast at about 45 miles per hour.
All right, and what you were just looking at, that was still video from the central part of Madison County, where we've seen a number of trees and power lines get knocked down. We've heard multiple reports of structural damage from this storm as it came through Madison County, and both of them are now out of Madison County. So let's just... So there's some of the latest things that we know, and it looks like we've had a number of damage reports across North and Central Alabama. And Michelle, if you would kind of go through some of these, I'll let you kind of take over from the news perspective.
All right, thanks very much, Jason. So here's what we know at this hour. There is damage in Madison and Limestone counties, significant damage that we have reported. We do have crews en route immediately to check out those scenes and bring us back reports that we can then pass on to you at home. 300,000 customers are without power at this time throughout the area. 30,000, excuse me, let me correct that. 13,000 plus in Limestone County alone. So we're going to certainly be watching that situation. Tornado watch is still in effect until 3 o'clock p.m. for the area. Of course, WHNT News 19, as I said, we have multiple crews out in the field. We're going to be covering this situation. A few more details to share as well from Athens City. 13,653 people in Limestone County without power, as I mentioned. 3 substations are out. At Canebrake subdivision, that's just off Lindsay Lane, the gas is off in that area and crews are working on 2 gas leaks. Athens firefighters are going house to house at this time. They have discovered a few minor injuries in the area. We had some reports of damage over near Buckhorn High School as well. I believe there are no injuries reported at this time in that area, but we do have our crews fanning out all across the Tennessee Valley to bring in the very latest information. We do encourage you to share your damage photos. If there is damage where you live, share the information with us. If you can post a photo to Facebook or send it through Twitter, we certainly would appreciate that. We can share that with our viewers and help keep them informed. Many encourage you to share your photos with us at WHNT.com's Facebook page. Just search WHNT on Facebook and you can join the 60-some thousand who already follow us for breaking weather updates there. Now we do have a picture shared. Carrie Robertson Tyler, she shared this with us. This was in Tony looking towards Ardmore along Highway 53. You can see just how dark things were there a little bit earlier this morning. As Jason and our meteorology team pointed out, the main threat for the Huntsville area appears to have passed, but that does not mean that this severe weather situation is over with. We certainly expect there to be a high risk throughout the day today. Another photo coming to us from Elizabeth D'Angelo. We'll bring this one up full so you can see this near Meridianville as well. Now Harvest, Meridianville, we certainly know that there were some storms, several tornado sightings that were reported by train spotters in that area. It will be a while before we know exactly what we were looking at, but our meteorology team pretty sure there was a tornado in the area this morning, and we do have some damage reports trying to get some more information again. So again, go to Facebook if you have any damage where you live. We'd like you to share that with us. You can also find us on Twitter. Just so I'm not sure who that is giving us the shot. Shane Hayes, one of our photojournalists, our team member here. You can see there is some damage there. We're looking at it appears to be a roof that was blown completely off a building. Several power lines, it looks like, may be down as well. Yeah, significant roof damage on a couple of those buildings. This is indicative of what we saw throughout the last hour or two as these storms rolled through. The same kind of reports coming in from our viewers and followers telling us about roof damage in the area, significant debris piles showing up. Several homes, as Shane is showing us live, do have roof damage. We can see there, and actually one of the utility poles appears to have snapped in half. So significant damage. We know this is going to impact you if you live in these areas. It could be up to about 70,000 people now without power in our viewing area, if not more. We're trying to keep track of those numbers as they increase.
Strong thunderstorms, and let's take this picture. We actually got a picture of the tornado that came in through the Huntsville area. This is from Dr. Harold Peterson via Reed Timmer. That's your funnel. North Huntsville. That's what came across Highway 231 there close to Meridianville Middle School. So that's what it looked like in a picture. And again, if you have a photo, send it to us at photo@WHNT.com. The more information you can attach to that, the better off that we will be. We especially need to know what time that this was taken, what time or what place, what was your vantage point, and anything you can tell us about what was going on there. Of course, you know, we can obviously tell that's a video of a funnel going across the north part of Huntsville. So thanks to Dr. Harold Peterson for sending that in via Reed Timmer. We got that live video, but that was video from Shane Hayes. If you were watching earlier, we told him to pull off the road before he got to Meridianville, and what he was seeing there, we believe, is probably the wall cloud. But one of the problems with looking at tornadoes in the south, chasing them, is that a lot of times they're wrapped in rain and there's not very good contrast between the tornado and the environment around it, around the base of the clouds. Everything is dark like that when it's rain wrapped, so it can be very, very difficult to see. But most likely what you're seeing, especially am I keyed over this? If you could, just pop me in over it. We'll just do some TV magic here. What you're seeing right here on the edge of it is the rain curtain coming around the mesocyclone, and if we were able to speed that up, see what he's zooming in on? That's not the actual tornado. That's rain wrapping around the outside of the the tornado, which would have been up the parkway from that vantage point. You can see how there's there I pop in. So sheets of rain wrapping around what was probably a tornado, crossing the parkway maybe as much as a mile north of his location. Because of the poor contrast, we weren't able to see it from his vantage point, but we know based on the damage that sure enough there was a tornado that came through there. And some of the pictures that we're getting into photo@WHNT.com, I'm able to see them over here on my laptop. It looks like this thing probably could have been an EF2, maybe an EF3 tornado. We'll know when the Weather Service gets out and does that. We're not in the...
I'd like to just share a photo that came to us from Jennifer Witham Gillespie. This was taken about a half-mile north of Riverton Elementary and 2 miles south of Buckhorn High School. You can see the cloud formation there. Brandon or Ben, I don't know if you guys have a minute, you can jump in if you want to and kind of describe what that looks like. Again, this was just south of Buckhorn High School from earlier this morning. We watched that so everybody can see. This was looking north. Ben, I don't know if you have a second to glance at this photo. Again, this was driving to Athens from Huntsville on Capshaw, looking north from Lauren Ortiz, one of our Facebook fans at home. She sent this to us on WHNT's Facebook page. Ben, what are you seeing with this one?
It's definitely a cloud lowering there. It looks like a wall cloud. It's kind of hard to see if there's actual rotation with that, but it definitely looks somewhat ominous there.
All right, thanks, Ben.
What do you think, Brandon?
Yeah, that's definitely a wall cloud. Usually when you have a wall cloud, you have rotation. And a good rule from this little picture here is anytime you see a funnel, even if it's just halfway to the ground, a lot of times that's a tornado on the ground doing damage. The funnel doesn't have to extend all the way down from the cloud base to the ground to actually be a tornado on the ground doing damage. So just kind of a good opportunity to give you that lesson there. But definitely some type of lowering, some intense rotation being indicated by that picture.
Take a look now live near Nick Davis Road. This is in Madison County. This is a live look at some of the damage to the homes near Nick Davis Road. Again, significant damage reported this morning with these tornado sightings in Madison County and also over in Limestone County. And I believe we have a reporter standing by live right now with more area. Here we go. And actually, Jason Simpson is going to step in and talk with us about what he's seeing with this damage. What does that indicate to you, Jason?
Well, Michelle, right here in, you know, we mentioned earlier it could be EF2, EF3. It all depends on what the Weather Service will designate it. And they do a wonderful job of getting out there and using a checklist that has been vetted over and over and over to look at damage like this and see how much of it was caused by that tree falling on the house or how much of it was actually caused by the wind pulling maybe part of that front porch off and pulling the roof off. It looks like maybe the tornado possibly sideswiped these particular homes out here, and I believe this is, Michelle, is this Madison County? Is that
Madison
right?
County,
This
yes.
is in
that
Madison
is a live
County.
look of Madison County.
Okay, yeah, this is in Madison County, so it looks like we may have had a side swipe or it may have just been weaker as it hit these, but there are some photos that are coming in, Nick Davis Road, there it is, in Madison County. So there are some photos that are coming into WHNT right now through photo@WHNT.com that are showing say a rooftop like that one right there that has completely been sheared off. So there are multiple types of damage in these tornadoes, and you can see we're just kind of panning around here looking. There's a looks like a metal outbuilding that was kind of twisted around. Tornado may not have been quite as strong here as it was in other parts of the county, and they often do that. Back on April 27th, we had some that were termed EF5 through their entire track, but there were moments where they were only doing maybe EF0 or EF1 damage. Tornadoes tend to intensify and weaken throughout their path, so it looks like a lot of this may have been done by, some of this damage was done by falling trees. Other of it was done maybe because the wind got up under an eave or under a porch or something like that, and that's why houses like that are built. Okay, there you go. Now we're starting to see some houses that have shingles pulled off. Some of them have their entire roof sheared off. And then you see some that are just fine. And then some that are like over here on this side where you're just left with the tarp paper on top of the roof with some debris down here on the ground. And I'd be interested to see exactly what that is. Panning around more, there you go. That's your more significant damage. We have entire holes in roofs. Let's pan, I don't know if you can hear me, pan back to the left just a little bit to this other house. And I think that we had a little bit more significant damage. If you can't hear me, that's okay. But there you see the shingles have been completely removed from that house in places. You're just looking at pure decking on the roof now. You can see through the attic of this one. This, again, looks like maybe EF1, EF2 damage in this spot, but it'll be the National Weather Service that actually makes that official determination. And it's hard to tell. It looks like this may be an entire roof collapse on that brick building. It would be It's hard to say because I'm not sure what it looked like before, but it looks like that may be an entire roof collapse into that building. And a lot of the damage like this is why we say, you know, you don't want to be on the second floor of a house. You want to be on the ground floor, the lowest floor that you can get to. If you're in a hall closet in this house or in this house, you're fine. If you're sitting on the front porch watching it go through, your life is in danger. And it's a very, very critical decision that you have to make to protect yourself. It's no one's responsibility but your own. We will carry all the responsibility in the world to get that information out to you, but it's critical that you make the smart decision and don't try to watch it come through. These things are violent, even when they're in their smaller, technically weaker form, than maybe the EF0, EF1. I never want to say a tornado is weak, but there are some that are not quite as strong as others. So this may not have been one of the strongest, but you can see the kind of damage it did. So this is the reason that we stay on television for hours and hours and hours and make sure that you have information that could potentially save your life. Michelle?
Let's go back now to that video. If we can share that with everybody. So this was shot near Laurel Bend subdivision. Curtis Stolas sent this to us via email. He said later, about 30 minutes, the rain-wrapped tornado came through. They didn't get video of that one because they jumped under the stairs. This, again, is coming to us from Curtis Stolas. He sent us that in an email. Now, Brandon, I see you taking a closer look at this. What are you seeing with this video?
Yeah, that's a distinct broad wall cloud. That's what it looks like from this vantage point. Of course, the actual funnel, if it were to be occurring at this time, would be over the horizon behind the rooftop. So we can't really confirm that the tornado is on the ground at this time, but of course, corresponding with the damage reports, it appears that was the case. And another good lesson to be had, Michelle, is that they jumped into their safe place as soon as that tornado approached them, which is the right thing to do.
Yeah, we want to stress.
Off to the northeast, there's still a pretty powerful storm headed toward Chattanooga. You can watch these storms as they've gone by. With this lull, we're going to get some sunshine. Don't let it fool you. There are more storms on the way this afternoon, and the warmer and more humid it gets, the worse off we are. Cold front comes through late this evening. More storms come in this afternoon. Some could be strong or severe. In fact, the Storm Prediction Center very well could expand that higher risk of severe weather down toward southern Tennessee, maybe North Alabama. We'll have an update on that soon. 77 right now in Huntsville, the dew point at 62 and a southwest wind at 18. It's already 80 in Muscle Shoals. That is not a good sign. We'll talk more about this and give you full details on what's going to be happening for the rest of today and a look toward the weekend as we finally move these storms out coming up in just a few moments.
Welcome back to our breaking news, our severe weather coverage on this Friday. Storm damage throughout the Tennessee Valley. Such a sad sight given what we saw last year in April. Certainly we never like to see damage like this. As you can see from this live stream footage, just really heartbreaking. There's a lot of damage to homes as well as it appears to be some commercial businesses in the area. This again, a live look at Madison County right now. Our crews are working hard to bring us the very latest updates. The good news so far, it appears there have been no major injuries with this storm system moving through. And Ben Smith, that is despite the fact that we had, it looks like, at least 2 confirmed tornadoes that came through our area this morning.
And we're still wondering how large these tornadoes were as far as the EF scale. And I just talked to David Nadler with the National Weather Service. He's been on TV here many times, and they're going to find out just how large these tornadoes were later on this afternoon. Most likely an EF2 or an EF3, probably winds at about between 120 and 150 miles per hour. Now, some good news, at least in our short-term forecast, we are seeing a little bit of a breakout there, but late this afternoon into this evening, we have another chance of having a round of severe thunderstorms, including damaging winds, large hail, and an isolated tornado. Let's go ahead and show you a live look at Armor Storm Vision right now. Things are very, very quiet. There are severe thunderstorms in and around Chattanooga. If you have some friends or family up there, you may want to check on them. We have a large tornado, at least earlier, that it could have been on the ground there in Hamilton County there in the Chattanooga area. And there's
a tornado watch in effect until 9 o'clock. More storms will come through. Some could be severe. A few may produce tornadoes. We'll watch it all very carefully. There you see the history on this. We've still got multiple warnings in effect out to our west, so we still have a ways to go before we can completely clear the severe weather threat. More on all the details for this coming up.
Thank you, Jason. The Meridianville Hazel Green area of Madison County was hit hard this morning. 25 homes in Madison County were destroyed. 15 more destroyed in Limestone County. Tornadoes hit very close to several schools and churches. WHNT News 19's David Wood has been in that area all day and joins us now with a damage report. David?
Well, Jerry, you know, at first getting to many of these areas was difficult because law enforcement had the roadways blocked off. You had a lot of debris in the roadway, a lot of downed power lines, but eventually this afternoon we were able to get to Hubert Road off of Walker Lane in Meridianville, where we found some significant damage. This is the view driving down Hubert Road in North Madison County. People organized almost immediately to begin assessing damage and boarding up what they could to prepare for another line of storms. Neighbors also making sure to take care of each other's emotional needs. This home had its roof ripped off. Large trees were downed in this yard and the homeowner's garage imploded under high winds. While no one was hurt in this family, a woman searches for her 2 missing dogs as she clutches her remaining dachshund puppy. Father of 2, Gerard Lanier, surveys the damage to his Hubert Road home as he waits on reinforcements. He's already been in contact with his insurance agent.
He's going to bring a contractor, and I guess we've already got set up with a hotel room and housing. My father's coming up here tomorrow, so he'll be here tomorrow, and all I'm going to do is just try and salvage what I can, get the clothes for my kids, for me and my wife, and you know, just take it from there and wait for them to get here.
Now, while that gentleman was playing the waiting game, if you will, a lot of folks out there weren't waiting on anything. Many people already had contractors out on the scene surveying the damage to their home within 2 hours after the tornado hit, and those who didn't have contractors out were helping their neighbors clean up. Live in Huntsville, David Wood, WHNT News 19.
Thank you, David. Madison County Coroner Craig Wisnat experienced the storm's damage firsthand. He wasn't hurt, but a storm ripped most of the roof off of his house. Wisnat took cover in a closet under the stairs. Moments later, he heard a loud rumbling, glass shattering, and debris flying. The garage was taken off the house. The coroner's office van destroyed, its windows blown out. The storm ripped the water heater out of the home as well. Wisnat found it in his backyard. His wife was at work and his son was at school, but both are okay. Lee?
Madison County School Superintendent Dr. David Copeland held a news conference this afternoon to discuss the damage sustained at Buckhorn High School and the plan for resuming school next week. Buckhorn High School sustained damage to its roof and windows. Power was also wiped out when power lines fell crashing into parked cars. Dr. Copeland says as of this afternoon, they expect to reopen the school for classes on Monday morning.
But at this point, we're planning to have school. We do have an alternative plan in place that we could use 14 classrooms from Buckhorn Middle School, and we may move a certain class over there, and that's in the works.
Dr. Copeland's thankful that none of his staff or students were hurt during the storms. He says that administrators will meet Sunday afternoon to assess their plan for Monday morning.
On Darwin Lane here in Madison County, just east of Moores Mill Road, this morning storms took this large mobile home, picked it up, and rolled it on top of 2 other vehicles. Luckily, the homeowners had just left moments before the storm hit to seek shelter, and when they came back after the storm was over, they say they were shocked but awfully glad they left when they did.
As the storm system moved east, they cut a path across northern Madison County. WHNT News 19's Daniela Parolon joins us tonight from Buckhorn High School with our update.
Yes, over here at Buckhorn High School, like you mentioned, the damage was pretty severe. Just morning, the students and teachers were just waiting for a warning that the storm was closing in and waiting to use those safety drills that they practiced just last week. And minutes after they got into the halls, the storm hit. They didn't hear the winds or the sirens blaring outside.
What we heard inside, when the change of air pressure took place, it lifted a lot of ceiling tiles out of the grids, it slammed some doors.
The students, thankfully, were all safe. But when they stepped outside, they could see the mess caused by the storm. Windows blown out, the press box demolished, blown completely onto another part of the school. In the parking lot, nearly 30 cars damaged, many destroyed by fallen trees or flying debris. And still, there's more damage to be uncovered.
We really don't know the complete extent of the damage until we get a structural engineer in here and look everything over.
And like you said, school might resume on Monday. They're going to figure that out Sunday afternoon. But we do know that most likely they're not going to be using the damaged south computer wing of the school, science and computer wing, for the rest of the year. In Newmarket, Daniela Paralon, WHNT News 19.